Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Well, it's a very early morning here in Utah. I woke up this morning super stoked, super excited, and yeah, did my stretches because today I'm going to be installing the US Car Tools Stage 2 Chassis Stiffening Kit. So you can buy this kit directly from them. I opt to get it through Auto Metal Direct. They had it in stock, and yeah, it's a very, very nice kit. We actually installed the exact same kit on our 68 Charger here, as you can see, with the torque boxes, the frame connectors, the inner fender braces, the radiator support mounts, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's a very nice kit. They sell it in stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So stage 1, I believe, is just the torque boxes and frame connectors. Stage 2 comes with a few extra parts, and then the stage 3 kit would include anything you want to do to mini tub and then relocate your spring mounts, kind of like how we did here with moving them inboard. You chop out a big section of the frame rail here at the bottom and you weld those in. So if traction ever becomes an issue on the Cuda, might not, but in that case, we'll do that kit as well. So looking at this, guys, let's start here at the top. Frame connectors, they're really, really nice. I mean, you can see they're cut out to form fit the floors, and they are a perfect match fit in most cases with the floor. Of course, you're gonna have to do a little bit of trimming here and there, okay, but it's a great start, and it should really get you close. And I mean, as you guys can see here on the Charger, you know, it fits really, really good and tight to the floor. I will say, if you guys are doing this on a lift, you're in luck, especially if you have the screw jacks here, because those can hold that thing straight up, and yeah, it makes it a whole lot easier to weld in. So we've got our torque boxes, the front and the rears. You know, I made a joke the other day that these are cute little torque boxes. I mean, they are tiny compared to the Charger ones. So hopefully that means they go in easier. I mean, it's all pretty straightforward stuff to put in, but yeah, noticeably smaller than the B-body stuff. And then we also have my favorite parts here, just because the exposed gussets, right? I mean, I love the dimple dies and stuff that they use on these for added strength, and honestly, they just look badass. But these here are the inner fender braces. Those get mounted up, and then also these pieces here kind of mount up underneath of those, and then on the sides of these, they include these little filler pieces here. And again, I'm going to show you guys step by step on how to install all that good stuff, but these make a huge difference to the front of the car. And then lastly, you know, this low radiator support piece, and again, it just looks badass, guys. And you know, it's really not too difficult to do, but I will tell you right now, you better have a full spool of welding wire, and you also better have a full tank of gas, because it takes a lot and it takes a long time to weld these in, especially if you're going to weld them solid like I do. So yeah, settle in, buckle up, because this is going to be a very weld happy episode. So first thing we're going to do, though, is that I'm going to coat the inside of all of these panels here with my 2K epoxy primer. So this stuff, I just use this. It's Spray Max. It's about half the price of the stuff you get from Eastwood, but you know, I've shown this a ton. But it's a 2K primer, so inside of this there's a little kind of cartridge in there. You pop this cap off, you push in the button on the bottom, and then you shake it up, and it's a catalyzed primer. It's going to last a lot longer than your 1K stuff, and yeah, it just a little bit of added reassurance here to make sure the insides of your panels don't rust. So we'll clean all these up. You know, they do come kind of pre-oiled, okay, so we'll clean all these up here with some solvent, and yeah, spray the insides of everything here. And then we've also got to pop off our front fenders. That grill's just kind of sitting in there just because it looks cool, and I pull in the driveway and I can see that. But that's got to come off. And then also, as we go around, because pretty much the entire car, with the exception of the bottom side, is already in epoxy, so we'll put up the parts, trace them out, we'll grind down the edges all the way around, and then throw that and weld through primer, so that way we can weld, you know, no problem to the car. So a little bit of prep work, but again, a lot of welding. So let's get to work. All right guys, so I'm just about to weld in the lower radiator support, and I ran into a little bit of an issue. Now as I go to weld in this first brace here across the bottom, of course the top, all the way across, you can weld that in no problem. But this lower piece has actually been pushed in. I mean, it's a 50-year-old front clip, right? And you can kind of see it's angled in a little bit. So busted out my fancy Harbor Freight Porta Power here. We're gonna put it on the torsion support and push this way with a block of wood all the way across. That way it's nice and even. And we'll go ahead, we'll throw a couple tacks here on the top, and then we'll hopefully push this support piece in, so that way it's a nice tight weld here all the way across the bottom. And yeah, little tweaks, little things, guys. It doesn't always just bolt in or weld in. So we're gonna have to make little fine adjustments here really with every single piece to fit them to the car. So let's go ahead, let's get that mounted up, and then we'll straighten this out. All right, guys, so I got my torque boxes all wrapped up. Well, really everything all wrapped up with the exception of my frame connectors here. Now, out of the box, these things are pretty sweet. They fit, you know, the contour of the floor really nice, but there's gonna need to be some adjustments, so I like to use a flap wheel. And what I do here, and I've actually already made probably a half dozen of these so far, and that is, you know, all these minor tweaks and adjustments. These screw jacks here are really, really key to doing this. And what I'm doing is that I'm pushing it up into the floor so that way I get as tight of a fit as possible. So let me grab my marker here and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing here. So anywhere where I have direct contact, where it's preventing the subframe connector from being pushed further up into the floor, I want to trim those areas so I can get it as tight as possible, okay? So, you know, right up here in the front, I already made a mark so that way it's dead straight, front to back of the car here. All looks good across there. As you can see right there, you know, I've got this space right there that I need to trim. Got this one right here. And I'm just going over lines that I made just a second ago, but I wanted to show you guys this. So, you know, I'm gonna go through here, make all these little marks so that way it'll fit tighter and tighter and tighter. Don't be worried about that right there. Once I get everything fit, I actually use a hammer and close that and weld it up. But looking at this side, guys, you know, again, kind of front to back, you can see right there on the front of that, it's preventing this from sitting up further, and that's actually probably why the back is so far off. But we'll go ahead, we'll trim that. We got that little dot right there, notch out that corner, a little piece right there, and so on, guys. And you just keep on doing this over and over and over until it's as tight of a fit as you can possibly get it, because your welds will turn out like $1,000,000 if you do that. If you don't do that, it's not gonna be $1,000,000. So, and once I get done trimming this, I'll do a quick side-by-side with one that I have not fit in the car yet, and you guys will see just how much I did end up cutting off. One other thing too, I'm assuming that this kit is meant for maybe other cars as well, or there's some variation between the seat pans, but they did kind of do a quick little laser cut on this. So that way you can either weld it up solid if you need to keep it, or you can cut it if you don't. I had to cut both of these off because it's on kind of the front and the back, and that's where I've got these little pieces right here left over. So let's go ahead, let's make these cuts, and we'll just keep fitting it and fitting it and fitting it as long as it takes. All right, guys, so I've got it all fit up. Everything turned out pretty good. I've also got this all ground down and in my weld through primer here. And like I said, for reference, I just went ahead, I laid the left side on the right side, and you can kind of see the one that's poking out here a little bit further on some of the ridges, especially right here, is the new one that has not been trimmed yet. So you can see it follows it for the most part, but to really get that tight fit, guys, you got to do this. You got to do that little fit checking and tweaking and grinding. And again, here's those breakaway pieces here that I had to cut off on mine. But fit check, fit check, fit check, fellas. So let's go ahead, let's get this mounted up, we'll get it tacked up, and then we'll go ahead and we'll trim out the other side and weld them all the way in.
All right, guys, we are finally all wrapped up with the install of the US Car Tools Stage 2 Chassis Stiffening Kit. And I tell you what, I'm absolutely in love. You know, one mistake, well, I guess I call it a mistake, but on the Charger, I went ahead, I welded every single one of these circles in, and honestly, I love the look of the clean gussets with all the dimple dies and everything else. I think it's a way, way better look than having this filled in and then having to grind it all, and it's a lot of work. In my opinion, it's a waste, considering that this thing is completely welded solid inside and out. We're still gonna go back through with the grinder, clean this all up, but you know, just kind of rough what it looks like. And then also, you can see how shiny the welds are and everything. I hit it real quick, everything really, with the wire wheel, and it cleaned up really, really good. Up here on the inner fender mounts, again, it's a shame that those are gonna get covered up by the fenders, but a really, really good look there. We've got our torque boxes installed, and then also, as you guys just saw, the frame connectors. And not gonna lie, I think the welds look pretty damn good. It's gonna be hard to clean all those up because honestly, I think that they turned out really good. And yeah, get a lot of practice in welding. So if you're new to welding, this would be a good project to do because I ran out of wire and I also ran out of gas. So all said and done, I think this project or this install probably took around 15 hours or so, did it over 2 days. And man, it's really going to make a huge difference with you know, with the overall strength of the car. I mean, honestly, even just pushing it around, I've had it up and off the lift a couple times here as I've installed it, and it is absolutely solid as a rock. And man, can't wait to feel the difference when I get this thing on the road. So that said, call me crazy, but here in the next couple days, I'm going to have a video out to you guys, and this car is going to be a roller. That's right, I got my brakes in. There's a little puppy, his name's Oliver. But yeah, we've got our brakes in, we've got everything that we need to make this thing into a roller. Again, QA1 came through huge. We've got full tubular, everything for it. We've got the 4-link, we've got a Dana 60. It's gonna be sick. So if you guys haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. You don't wanna miss a second of this build. And man, this thing is absolutely flying. So can't wait to have it done. Definitely can't wait to have it at the Evanston Car Show July 22nd. So if you're in the area, come on out, guys. This car is gonna look a lot different by then. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys again real soon.